Welcome back for the third and final part of the conversation on One Punch Man with NewYorkMikes2. I'd like to give a huge shout out to him right from the start for making this possible, for seeking the collaboration, and go on over to his page and check out his work as well. So let's get right back into it and pick up where we left off.
Yeah, because Boros, he's over here telling how he's been going galaxy to galaxy trying to find the strongest of them all. He's been training himself to be this ultimate life form and talking all about this. And then Saitama says, shut up, I don't care. And he's just like, I'm a hero for fun. And Boros is talking about all this stuff he went through to get this strong. And Saitama doesn't care. He's wanted to become strong originally, become a hero. And it's even amazing, too, though, the fact that he's the reason the Hero Association was even made because of what he did to save that kid with the balls chin.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That is actually... No, you are correct. That is funny. And also the fight with Boros is where we get the classic, the meme of Saitama saying, okay.
Yeah. Meme face, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I actually had forgotten about that, but I laughed so hard when I saw that. I'm like, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, he doesn't care about anyone's background story. I mean, that always happens with these villains or, the heroes. They got told for some reason also have to tell you their background to the other person, and he doesn't care. He's like, okay, whatever. And Saitama,
Exactly.
He never has to tell his. The only time I guess he does is, when he's with Genos and telling the way he got to the point where he was, and, they're all calling BS on him.
Right. So it's interesting because, what is One Punch Man trying to tell us? Well, in a sense, from a macro level, One Punch Man is one of those anime series that refuses to take itself seriously. Mm-hmm. And that makes it an instant favorite in my book. I love those kinds of series that are like parodies of other tropes in anime where it's like, it puts it all out on the table but refuses to take it seriously.
Of course, because after you watch so many, then just to see this, like, oh, that's kind of refreshing. That's funny. Yeah, I could kind of relate this back to another anime. It's hysterical.
Right. It's good to have that happen. But what I think on a macro level, judging the series as a whole, okay, that's kind of what it is it refuses to take itself seriously. Although it does have its serious moments, which can also be refreshing, like this kind of back and forth of an absurd comedy, but also like a serious story, but then it ends absurdly and then picks up. It's alternating, and that's really fun. Kind of keeps the excitement alive. But insofar as Saitama is concerned, in comparison with all the other heroes and some of the villains, like we saw with Boros, it presents this strangely contradictory, maybe not contradictory, but seemingly contradictory, enigmatic picture where you think, by having limits in life, having a limit on your power, having a limit on your beliefs, it gives you direction and a sense of purpose, and it can give you satisfaction, which is the one thing Saitama doesn't have. On the other hand, Saitama is the one with the unlimited power, and while he lacks satisfaction, he puts down everyone who gets in his way. Usually the villains, anybody who dares take him on.
Yeah, he spares a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he spares a few. And he, when he knows it's a hero who just got cocky or has a chip on his shoulder, he goes as light as he can on them too. I mean, he even went light on Speed of Sound Sonic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, barely touching, his lower area.
Right, so, yeah, oh, that was hilarious. I was sure something much worse was going to happen to Speed of Sound Sonic after the fact.
Yeah, he was never going to spit it out for a second.
Right, but the contradiction I see here, this sort of enigmatic picture, is that on the one hand, the people who have values and have a limit on their power are the ones who get a sense of satisfaction and purpose in life, whereas Saitama has unlimited power but does not have a sense of satisfaction or purpose in life, and yet ironically his unlimited power is what inspires other people to transform their values. Mm-hmm. So it's this weird, it's not quite a cycle, it's just like Saitama's lack of values but infinite amount of power still puts him on top, even in this sort of sense of the hierarchy of justice and things. He truly seems to be beyond good and evil. And so I guess Saitama his character asks the question for us all: if you had the opportunity to have the power that takes you beyond the standards of good and evil, knowing that you would end up dissatisfied and bored with life for the rest of your life, would you truly do it?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that brings up a lot, and I do like, though, that you're referring back to how, it goes from, I guess, serious, funny, serious. I mean, with the Moomin Rider, for example, you see him come into the scene. He tries to protect everyone. He has all that, I guess, very emotional music to pick up. Everyone's cheering for him, and you think somehow he's going to lock some secret power, and then, yeah, he gets obliterated, and then Saitama comes. The joke happens, punches him in the head, calls him bald, and then one punches him.
Right. Precisely. And it's so inspiring, the Moomin Rider. But one of the interesting things was it was kind of subtle because it gets buried underneath the drama of everything else that follows. But I believe Moomin Rider was the only person who wrote thank you note to Saitama.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who wrote this. He was the one who wrote the thank you note, and then he offered to buy Saitama a beer, offered to buy him something at that little shop on the corner.
Yeah.
And that little bit of gratitude, I wouldn't say it transformed Saitama, but it gave him a sense of satisfaction for the briefest moment. Somebody simply saying thank you.
Yeah, and you kind of see, I don't think he really takes serious, but he kind of jokes with Genos, how he gets all this fan mail, how, everyone think he's, like, handsome and how cool he is, the demon cyborg. And then he's Cape Baldy. No one cares about him.
Yeah, nobody cares about Cape Baldy. So it's funny because also another observation you can make is that because of how seriously the heroes take their profession as heroes, and how seriously they take things as petty as the rankings or as serious as a sense of justice, it strangely seems to put them out of contact with reality. Mm-hmm. When ultimately it seems like the sort of the purposeless drifter Saitama, he is the reality.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this man could easily be S-class. He doesn't care. I mean, heck, all the stuff that King did, he doesn't go saying, well, that was me. Or he doesn't even get mad at King for the fact that he didn't say that it was Saitama. He doesn't care at all. I mean, he's like, just get stronger. He doesn't mind at all about it. I mean, he wants to get ranked more. I mean, at first, when he defeats the comet or meteor, he was kind of surprised, like, that's it? That's all I ranked up? And he was shocked. But at the same time, I mean, I think it's just shorts. I mean, he doesn't really care.
No, he doesn't care. But the funny thing is, he's still, as far as I remember, he was still only B class by the end of the series, because he had jumped from C1 up to the B class.
Yeah, I think he does only jump up to like the highest of like B class.
Yeah, but it's funny because he could easily take down absolutely any of the S-class heroes, let alone the entirety of Class A, but he's being ranked in the low levels of Class B, but he is the most powerful hero, and he repeatedly demonstrates it. But it's because other people are so out of touch with reality, and they're so subjectively invested in their own ideas of justice, of value, of other things, or maybe their own petty squabbles of who owns the rankings or whatever. Because of that, they're all sort of Saitama's in their blind spot. He is the reality they're ignoring, and the consequence is that he doesn't get what he deserves. He doesn't get the promotion to S1 as he most likely deserves. Because everybody else is out of touch with reality. He's powerful enough to have established himself as sort of like the top standard, but he goes unnoticed.
Well, it's funnier though. I will say the only thing is very minor manga thing is that everyone starts acknowledging him when the A class start talking to him. All the S class starts to acknowledge him. But even with Fubuki, she notices that Saitama's talking to Genos, talking to King, talking to Bang. So he's talking to all these S-class heroes. Like, how can a little B-class hero be doing that?
Right.
So it's funny that people start more and more to acknowledge him, the stronger, than the people who are weaker in his class. Like, what? How's that possible?
Yeah, it is. That was so funny watching Fubuki just like kind of like look around like, what are you doing hanging out with all the S-Class heroes? Like, and they're just chilling in King's apartment playing video games and doing nothing. But that's also kind of funny that Saitama kind of humanizes them. I mean, it's not that they weren't human before, didn't have their own hobbies or aspirations before. He just sort of brings them down to a mundane level and
Yeah,
makes
of
them,
course.
they sort of take on like the casualness with which he conducts himself.
Yeah, they're all there, like they're eating together, they're playing video games, and then they go into Saitama's apartment, and none of them will leave. He already has the problem with Genos, how he won't leave, and he has like a little sleeping bag there trying to pay rent. Saitama's like, everyone, just leave. Just funny, the S class is just like the few of them are just like kind of gnats to him. They won't leave the man alone.
Right. So overall, the series, it was interesting because I mean it was hilarious, but it had a good enough storyline and good, not just good enough. It had a very good storyline, a lot of fantastic action that would sometimes keep you on the edge of your seat, especially with the characters who aren't as strong as Saitama, which is literally everybody else. But overall, my analysis or my judgment of it was that it was an excellent series that puts a number of interesting concepts and factors into like a tension with each other or contradiction with each other that generates a sense of absurdity but also humor.
Yeah. Okay.
It's absurdity, humor, and hope it's all at the same time.
I know that most people watch it for surface level, just think Saitama's one big meme, which, yeah, I could see that,
Oh, yeah.
and that the whole thing's just a spoof, but I think there's more to it than just being like this huge parody spoof and Saitama's just one big old meme with just really nice animated fights. I think there's more to it than just, surface level when you look at it.
Absolutely. There is far more there. I mean, I wish I could like draw off of one. I was trying to think before we did this. I was, if there was one specific philosopher who had something to say on this, because after all, I am Plato-Senpai, I'm trying to think of like one specific philosopher who had something to say about boredom. And nothing was really coming to mind. But, that's okay. I've given you my sort of original analysis on things, so.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I mean, there'll still be, the manga is way ahead, so there'll definitely be a season 3 and 4. I don't know when. With animes, you never know, right? It could easily be 3 years, 4 years,
yeah.
a month. Who knows?
Yeah, that one series I mentioned, Oregairu. Season 2 came out in 2015, and they just started airing season 3 about 3 weeks ago.
My goodness. Yeah, I understand that a lot of animes are like that, where it just takes so long. But I guess I can understand because I'm one of the problems. I mean, I watch my anime for free.
Right.
So I'm probably not helping.
No, that's a different discussion for another time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for talking about season 1 and 2 of One Punch Man. Like I said, hopefully, whenever season 3, maybe season 4, we can make another discussion about that. There'll be, trust me, plenty to talk about when that comes out.
Yes, I'm sure, because the way season 2 ended, it's like, okay, this by far was not over, and the success that the show enjoyed, including having won a couple awards in the United States.
It did.
It's like, okay, this can't be over.
I mean, also, the same guy who made One Punch Man made Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho, I think in 2020 or 2019, won a bunch of awards too.
I always wondered, because Mob Psycho, just the animation style, like that one character, I was like, wait, was that Saitama when he was young? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, they were kind of like, he kind of had the same character design as Saitama, except he had hair, and he was kind of supposed to be like Tatsumaki, the #1 Esper.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, interesting. Okay, well, for sure, we definitely got to talk about the next few seasons when they come out.
That sounds good to me. Thank you for featuring me.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you so much for sticking around to watch all 3 parts of this conversation about One Punch Man with NewYorkMikes2. I hope you enjoyed watching this just as much as he and I enjoyed making it. I gotta give a huge shout out to him for putting together the video, for giving it the stunning visuals. Everything was just beautiful, and I love his work. So go on over to his channel, give him a subscription, give him some likes, some views, you know what to do. And of course, I gotta be humble here and say, do the same for me, please. Give me some more views, likes, subscribes. You know what to do. As you know, this is Plato-Senpai, and I will see you in the next video. Stick around.